In this video, I'll show you how to build this full stack Facebook clone, and at the end we'll deploy it on the internet so you can share it with your friends. You'll be able to log in with your Google account and your information will be displayed in the header, so right here, in the stories, so you'll have a custom story, and in the sidebar with your profile picture and your username. You can like the post, so like and unlike. You can comment. I'll write my second comment. I'll post this, and the number of the likes and the comments, it's updated live. So you can see here the number of the likes, comments, and the timestamp of the post. So let's add a post. I'm gonna add a caption first. My new thumbnail. I'll add a picture. We can preview the picture and delete the picture if you want. I'll choose a different one. And now let's post this. This is loading. It's uploading to Firebase. Now again, we have the same functionality, so we can add a comment and post it. This is mobile responsive as well, so let's check this out on mobile. I'll go to inspect on mobile. And let's check this out on Samsung S20. As you can see, this looks perfect on mobile as well. Let's go back to the desktop version. Now let's try to log in to our Google account. I'll delete this. I'll click on login. As you can see, we have this sign in page. And now let's choose an account. I'll go with the first one, and will be redirected to the main page. And now you can see that we get a story with our profile picture and a lot of more stuff. For the front end of this project, we'll use React and Next.js as well as Tailwind CSS to style the page. If you've never used Next.js and Tailwind, I'm gonna teach you how to in this video. Now for the backend, we're gonna use Firebase to store the users and the images, as well as Next.auth to authenticate to Google. I think this project is very exciting, so let's start by opening VS Code. Okay, so quick talk before we start. If you ever get stuck or need help with the projects, you can book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, you can join my Discord, where you can find a community of people just like you. Okay, back to coding. Okay, so here we are in VS Code. The first thing I'm gonna do is install Tailwind CSS with Next.js at the same time. So if you search on Google, install Tailwind CSS with Next.js, this should be the first result. I'm gonna copy the first line of code and I'm gonna paste it inside our project. But instead of my project, I'm gonna say Facebook. Enter. Let's wait for this to install. Okay, now next thing to do is to say cd into our project. So let's say cd Facebook. Now let's install this Tailwind CSS. I'm gonna paste it inside here, enter, and let's wait for this to install. Okay, now let's copy the next line of code and paste it in our project. Now after this is installed, let's copy this paragraph and we'll paste it inside tailwind.config.js. Okay, so here we have the Facebook folder. So this is the Next.js folder structure. So inside tailwind.config, we're gonna paste this tailwind config and save. The next thing to do is copy this paragraph and let's go to styles. And as you can see here, it's global.css. So we have to paste this inside global.css at the top. Paste and save. Now the last step is to copy this npm run dev and paste it in our terminal. Our server just started on port 3000. So let's go to localhost 3000. As you can see, we have this Next.js project. Now if we go to pages and index.js, here we have the site. So the first thing to do is to clean this code. So I'm gonna delete everything except our header down to the footer. So just to here and save. Now we only have the header. Let me make this smaller. Now we only have the header and the styling of the header. Let's try and see if our Tailwind works. So I'm gonna say hi and save. Now we're gonna use some Tailwind classes. So I'm gonna say background of red 200 and save. The next thing to do is to delete this styling of the page. Okay, so as you can see, our tailing is working, everything is working for now. So we're gonna start by creating the layout of our website. Let's save this and let's create the layout now. I'm gonna comment this, and first we're gonna have the header, so header, and then we're gonna have the feed. Now the feed is gonna be not fed, feed, and the feed is gonna have three parts: the left side, the both side, and the right side. Okay, but first let's start with the header. So I'm gonna create a header component, and inside Facebook let's create a folder with components. Inside components let's create a file, a component called header.js, and let's get the boilerplate. So I'm gonna say RFC. If you want this boilerplate, it's coming from this extension, ES7 React Redux. Just install this. Let me delete this file now. Okay, save. And inside header, if we save, we're gonna go to files, index, and let's import header into the website. Save this. Let me close this. And now let's go to header and configure the header. Now we're gonna have three parts. So the left side, then the middle part. So I'm gonna say middle, and then we're gonna have the right side. Let's save this. And the first thing we're gonna do is to add the logo for Facebook and then the input, so search on Facebook. Now to use the logo of the Facebook, we are gonna need for this project, and not just for the Facebook logo but for all the images, I'm gonna create an assets folder, assets, and inside these assets I'm gonna paste all the images of the project. If you want the images, you can just go to my GitHub and download them. You're gonna find the link in the description. Let's paste this inside assets, and these are all the images. There are some images that we're not going to use, but I did not delete them, so they're not too big anyway. So for the left side, I'm gonna need to import the Facebook logo. Import Facebook from /assets and /Facebook 1.png. Save. And now in the left side, let's create a div and import the image. I'm gonna create another div for the image. So this is the next component. So image from next/image. Save this, and let's give it a source of Facebook. Save. Let's say a width of 10 and the height of 10. I've added this div for the image because it's way easier to style the image. Let's try with 12 maybe. That's a little bit too large, so I'm gonna leave it at 10. Save this like it is, and let's add the input as well. Save. Let's give it a placeholder. I'm gonna say search Facebook. Now let's let's put them in line. I'm gonna say flex. To this input I'm gonna create a class name, and this should have a margin left of 2. Now we can delete this outline as well. So let's say outline 0. If you hover over the text, you get the style of the CSS. So if you want the styling of the CSS to show up as well, you're gonna go to the extensions and install this Tailwind CSS IntelliSense extension. Now let's see. We have this have the input and the Facebook. Now what we want to do is to add some margin to the left. So I'm gonna say margin left of, but not to the left side, but to the whole header. I'm gonna say class name, and we want a padding all around of 3, maybe 4. Okay, looks good. Let's give the input a color, and let's put the input inside a div. Save, and let's get this margin left and put it to the class name, of the div. Save. Here I'm gonna say items center, so we have these two at the same line. Now let's give some I'm gonna say a background color. I'm gonna say a background color of hashtag F2, F3, F7, and save. I'm gonna give some padding to this input, so padding of 1 maybe, or 2. Okay. I'm gonna say rounded full, and let's give some padding to the left as well of maybe 2, 3, 4. Okay, looks good. Now we are done with this left side. Now let's go to the middle part. So inside the middle part I'm gonna create a div, and inside this div we are gonna have the icons from Facebook. So let's to install the icons, we are gonna go to React Icons. React Icons, it's a very popular library where we can get some cool looking icons. Okay, so if you go to their first page, let's install React Icons. Copy this, and inside the terminal I'm gonna split the terminal. I'm gonna say cd Facebook, and let's install the React Icons. Let me show you how this React Icons works. So let's search for example for home, and we have all these home logos. I already have all the logos, so all the icons for this header that we need. I'm just gonna paste them inside here. You can just copy this from my GitHub repository, or you can just type them manually. So now let's close React Icons, and here we're gonna use first the home icon. Let's go to the files as well. Okay, so let's create a component with md home, and this is how simple it is to use React Icons. Let's save, and here we have the icon. Let me zoom in. This is the home icon. It's an SVG. So the next one is gonna be the flag, so let's import the flag as well. Let's save this. The next is gonna be the play button. Save. The next is gonna be the shopping cart, so BS cart 3. gonna paste it here. The next one is gonna be the group icons. So gr group probably. Save, and let's delete these two. Save. Let's say flex, so they're in line. I'm gonna say flex at the top as well. I'm gonna say item center. Save, and now let's say justify between. Save. Let's give some class name to the icons. So I'm gonna say width of maybe 8 and height of 8 as well. I think let's try with 9. Save, and now it looks better. So I'm gonna copy this class name and paste it to each icon. Save. Okay, now for the rest, I think 8 is enough. So I'm gonna say Control D. I'm gonna say 8. Save this. And they are still a little bit too big. So I'm gonna say probably 7. Control D. Let's try with 7. Okay, now I'm gonna say items center. Okay, now they look equal now. So I'm gonna give some space on the x-axis of 4. If you want to see the styling of this space x, it's just a trick for Tailwind that we get 1 rem distance between each child. So we get on the x-axis this nice spacing. Now I think we're done. So we have the all 5. Maybe let's give some more spacing. So I'm gonna say spacing 6, spacing 7. Yeah, 7 looks okay. Now we're gonna create the right side as well. So let me make this bigger. So for the right side, I'm gonna create a div, and inside this div we're gonna have 4 icons. So the first one is gonna be the group of apps. Let's create a component and the component and save. As you can see, we have this one. So I'm gonna copy the class name and give it to the group of apps. The next one is gonna be the bell. So FA bell. Let's copy this, paste it. We have the bell as well. The next one is gonna be the message. AI outline message. Save. And now let's say flex. Some spacing between them, so space x of 4 maybe. Let's say 5 or 6. Okay, 6 will work. Yeah, now let's add the user image. So to add the user image, we're gonna need to import user from assets and slash, let's see what's the image. So let me find it. These images we're gonna use for the stories. So I think, which one is it? Okay, so guy 7. So inside header, I'm gonna say guy7 dot jpeg. Save, and let's wait for it to, oh, actually we have to import it first. So after this we are gonna have a div for the image component, and inside I'm gonna say source and the guy or user. Save, we have this thing. So let's give it a class name of not here but here. I'm gonna say a width of, let's say 10, and a height of 10 as well. Let's check this out. Looks okay. Now let's say class name of rounded full. So we have the rounded full. Save. This is border radius of the circle, and let's say items center as well. So we have the items centered. Now this header looks all right. The single thing I want to do is to add probably some more margin, but I'm gonna do this later. Now let's give this some border. So at the top I'm gonna say border bottom and save. Now we have this nice border. The next thing to do is to make this usable on the phone as well. So I'm gonna click inspect, and then for example for the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra we can see there are too many things at the top that we can't use them all. So to get around this, we are gonna hide some elements when we are on the phone size. So I'm gonna hide this search input. So for the input, first I'm gonna explain you the Tailwind media queries. So if you search Tailwind media queries on Google, you're gonna get this custom screens. So for example, small it's after 640 pixels, medium 768, and so on. Now we're gonna say when this is on mobile, we don't want the input to show up, but when we get to the 640 pixels, we want the input to show up. So for example, at 640, I'm gonna show you. Let me type this here, 640. This is the 640. So here we want the input to show up, but when we go a little bit smaller, we want it to be hidden. So I'm gonna say hidden on mobile, because that's the default, because we are first creating the app for mobile and then for the desktop. So for default it's hidden, and then when we go to the small sizes, we want it to be a block. Save. Now if you go to 640, as you can see, the input just appeared. Okay, let's do the same thing for these three icons as well. Yeah, I think we should delete them all. So on the right side, I'm gonna create a div and add the three icons inside the div. Save. Let's delete this white space, and I'm gonna give the flex to this div as well, and spacing 6 I'm gonna give it to this div as well. Save. And when we go, let's add, so I'm gonna say hidden on the mobile, the same thing as before. And then on the small screen sizes, we want this to be flex. Save this, and now on the small it will appear, but it's too much content for small as well, so I'm gonna say on medium. So medium, it's from, let's check, medium is from 768 pixel and bigger. So here as you can see, we get them as well, but when this is getting a lot smaller, it disappears. Okay, we can give some margin to the left. So let's say margin left of 2 maybe. Say 4. And let's give this input some margin to the right as well. Not here, but here. Okay, now looks a little bit better. So let's check this on mobile again, so we'll be sure that everything works. So on Samsung S20 we have this nice looking navbar, and then if I go to responsive, everything looks all right. Okay, I think we're done with this header. Maybe the single thing we can add, it's when we are on this screen size, to add some more margin. So to do it, I'm gonna say, let's check the screen sizes. So after LG, I'm gonna say, after LG I want the margin on the x-axis, so not margin but padding on the x-axis, to be maybe 8. Okay, let's try with 10. Yeah, looks way better. Now I think we're done with this header, so let's go to the next step. So for the next step we are going to go to the index. So inside index we have this feed component. So let's create a feed component and save. I'm going to go to components, say feed.js, rfc, and save. In the index I'm going to import the feed.js. Okay, I don't get a suggestion, so I have to import it manually. And save. Feed, not header. Feed. Okay, so we have the feed component now. Let me make this smaller. Okay. Now let's go into the feed and let's create the layout of the feed. As I've said earlier, we are going to need 3 things: the left sidebar, the feed, so the stories and the post, and then on the right side we are gonna need the right side. So let's create first the left side. Save. Left sidebar, not left side. Let's create the story, so stories. Then we're gonna have the new post, create post, not new post. Then we're gonna have the posts, and on the right we're gonna have the right sidebar. And save. First we're gonna start with the left sidebar. So let's create this component, left sidebar. Let's go to components, left sidebar.js, rfc, save, rfce, save. Now in index, go to the feed, let's import the sidebar. You can just click here and just a control and space, and you'll get the suggestions as well. Now for the left sidebar, I'm gonna create a div, and inside this div we're gonna have some logos, some icons. So I copy them, I'll just paste them inside here. I have only one image, and then the rest are icons. So we have the guy, and then these are the icons from React icons. We're gonna start with the home icon. So I'm gonna copy the home, I'm gonna paste it here, save, and we have the home button. Now I'll add the user, so I'm gonna create a div. I'll have the image of the guy, so I'm gonna create an image component with a source of guy. Let's import the image from next/image and save. I'm gonna say width of 10 and height of 10. To this home I'm gonna say width of a class name first, width 10, height 10 probably. Let's check. That's a little bit too much, so I'm gonna say 9. Save, and that looks alright. Now the next thing to do is to add some border, but first let's say class name and rounded full. Save this. Let's add some border underneath this. So I'm gonna create a div with a border on the bottom only. Save. And now let's give some width. I'm gonna give this left sidebar a width, so I'm gonna say width of 10 rem maybe, and save. That should be enough. Now we have to give some margin to the left as well. So to do this, I'm gonna copy this width and I'm gonna give it to this div. Save, and now we can say a padding of maybe 3, maybe 4. And if I delete this, yeah, let me say padding to the top of 4, and we want a padding on the left of maybe 6. Maybe let's try it 8, 7 should do. Now let's give some margin to the top as well. So to this image, margin top of 4. Now we want this to have a margin on the eye, so vertically of 4. So at the top and at the bottom we want for 1 rem, 16 pixels. Then after the navbar, we're gonna create we're gonna get the watch TV. So where is the desktop? So outline desktop. Let's actually get this one, copy it, paste and save. The next one should be the friends. So let's try this one, save, and it's the good one. Then after the friends should be the groups. So the group is this one, save. The next one should be the marketplace, so the cart. And the last one, not actually it's not the last one, so the events. Save this. We need 2 more. So this one should be the memories. So the memories is the circle, the clock. And the last one, it's the arrow down. paste. And now let's modify the width of these images. Let's try with 8. Okay, now the calendar should be a little bit smaller, so I'm gonna say 7. The watch should be 7 as well, so they are equal in size. Now 8 should do. Okay, let's say here flex. I'm gonna say flex col, so flex column, and I'm gonna say space on the y-axis of 4 and save. Now 4 looks good. Maybe let's try with 6, but not here. I'm gonna give it to this div. No, I'm gonna create a div. I'm gonna put all the images inside this div. And I'm gonna say space y of 6. Now it looks pretty good. So now we're gonna have to say for each icon what's the name of the icon. So for this we should create a div and include the icon inside. Save. Now let's add a paragraph. This is gonna be the home. I'm gonna say flex here, item center. Let's say text semi-bold, not text but font semi-bold. Let's try it bold. Okay, let's give some margin to the left on this p tag. I'm gonna say margin left of 2. Yeah. Now let's do the same thing for the image. Should be class name, not class name but font semi-bold. Flex. Okay, well, we have to add the paragraph outside of this div, and then let me delete this thing, and then we should create another div and put the image and the paragraph inside this div. Save. Now we can say flex now, so flex, item center. Let's margin top of 4. Let me delete this. Okay, so now we can say margin top here, margin top of 4. Font semi-bold, actually it's bold. Now let's copy this and do the same thing with these icons. So I'm gonna create a div, put the icon inside it, and create a paragraph. Actually, I'll get this one, this paragraph, and paste it here. Save. You should say flex. Okay, I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste the name of the icon. Control C. I'll delete this one. I'm gonna do the same thing for each one. Copy groups and delete the groups. Copy this one. We could have avoided this, but I guess it's not that big of a problem. We're almost done. We have only 2 more, so I'm gonna copy this, delete this, Now let's do the same thing for the next one. Copy, paste, delete this one, and for the last one, this was a little bit annoying, but that's it. And save. Now let's rename this. So first one, it's the home. So this one should be the home. Now the next one, it's log in. Let's save this. The next one should be watch. The next one should be friends, then groups, friends, groups, marketplace and events. So marketplace, then events, and after this memories and see more. Let's save this. Now we don't actually need a font bold on the see more. And what we have to add, it's items center as well. Okay, so I'm gonna add item center to each div. So the icons will be centered. Let's save this, and they are centered. We can do the same thing here. We already done it. Item center. Okay, everything looks good. Now on the mobile devices, we don't want this to show up, this left sidebar. So when we're on the phone, we don't want this to show up. We can check how large it is. So if we say background green 300, we can see how large it is. We don't want it at all. So to fix this, we are gonna say that on mobile we want it to be hidden, and then on the small screen sizes, let's say block. So if I go to responsive, as you can see on mobile it's not appearing, and now on the small sizing it's appearing. Okay, so we are done with the left side. So the next thing to do is to create the feed. So let's go to the feed. I'll close this, close the left sidebar, and now inside the feed I'm gonna create the stories component. Inside components I'm gonna create stories.js, rfce, save. Let's go and import these stories, and as you can see we have it right here. To have them in line, I'm gonna say class name of flex. All right, now let's go inside stories and create the actual stories. For the stories, we are gonna use some images from the assets folder. I already have this copied, so I'm gonna paste it here. Again, you can copy this from my GitHub repo, or you can just type it manually. I chose to paste them because it's too much to type manually. Okay, so now let's use the images to create the story. We're gonna create an array, so I'm gonna say const called stories equals, and I'm gonna have an empty array for now. Let me delete this. I'm gonna have this empty array for now, but inside this div I am going to map through each story and have a div for each story. So let's start by creating the div. Okay, this is gonna have inside a hi. Okay, so I'm gonna say semicolon, and then stories.map, and for each story I'm going to have this div that says hi. Save. And now let's create let's put some object. Each object is gonna be each story. So for each story is gonna have profile picture and the background picture. So two things. The first one is gonna be the Mike Tyson story. So I'm gonna say profile of Mike profile. This again is the name of the picture, and then the background, and it's gonna be Mike. Save this, add a comma, and then let's double this. Let's duplicate this, not like that. I'll put this on a single line, and now I'm gonna duplicate it, and inside instead of Mike, I'm gonna say Mr. Beast, and this one is gonna be Mr. Beast background. The next one is going to be the Kobe. So Kobe background, and the background is gonna be Kobe, and that's it. The next one is gonna be Arnold. So Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the background Arnold background. Let's save this, and as you can see we have a hi for each story, okay? But we don't want the hi to show up. We want actually a picture, the picture and the profile the background and the profile picture to show up. But first let's add we did not add the rock, okay? So let's add the rock as well. So I'm gonna create a profile for the rock as well. So the rock 20 and the rock simple. Save this. Now to add the pictures, I'm gonna create first an image. So an image from Next.js. Make sure you import the image from Next image, and let's say source is going to be story dot profile, no, background. Let's save this. As you can see we have the background image for each story. Now for the rock, I think we should reverse this. So the rock is gonna be here, and this picture is gonna be in this side. Save this. Okay, so now we have the images correctly displayed. Let's give this some sizing. So first I'm gonna create a div and put this image inside the div. Save. And let's say that a single story is gonna have a width of maybe 20. Okay, maybe let's try with 24. Okay, and a height of 20. Let's try a little bit more, so I'm gonna say 30. Okay, now next thing to do is to add the say flex first. So I'm gonna say flex in this div. So class name flex, and this image to occupy the whole div. For this to happen, I am going to say, I'm going to give this a class name of object cover, and save. This is object fit cover, and let's say flex here and flex here as well, and save. I think let me do this one. Okay, I think the object cover should work here as well. Let's save this. Actually, let's see what's the problem. I'm gonna say background red 300. Okay, so the height of 30. Okay, well, we should give this height here. So, oh, it was because 30, it's not a Tailwind size. So if you hover over it, you see you don't get any CSS because Tailwind operates in multiples of 4. So not 30, but 32. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on. So 32. Okay, now we can say flex. Now we can say flex. Actually, let's leave flex here, and the class name is for this image. Let's copy this, and the flex is for this div. Save it, and object cover flex. What's the problem? Okay, now it works. Now we can give some spaces, so some space on the x-axis of 4. We can give some padding all around, so padding of maybe 4. Let's add some rounded to the images, so I'm gonna say right here rounded full, and we have to give this rounded full to the image as well, but not full. Let's try with 1 rem. 1 rem. Let me copy this, save. Okay, so now it looks way better. Let's give this a 40, a height of 40. Okay, so 40 looks way better. Now let's check it on mobile as well. So if we hit inspect S20 Ultra, we get the images. So as you can see, this is too much for the mobile. So for the mobile, we're gonna say on the small we want these sizing, so I'm gonna say small and small. So it's gonna be 24 and 40 on the small. So if I go to responsive at 640, let's go to 640. As you can see, we get this sizing. So 24 and 32, it's on the small, but on the mobile, so on S20, let's configure the sizing. So where is it? Here. The normal width should be 12, I think. Let's try 12 and 20. That's too small, so let's try 16 and 20, 16 and 32, and 32. Save. Now this looks better. I think a little bit more should work. So I'm gonna say here only 2. We want a spacing only of 2, and we want a width of 18. Width 18, height 32. Okay, that's too much. Let's keep 16. And if we hover over this, it's 4 rem. So let's to add we want a different size. So to add a custom size that is not in Tailwind sizing, we can just add some braces and type inside them the size. I'm gonna say, let's say 4.5 rem. Okay, that should be enough. Now if we go to responsive before 640, so here 639, we can see this is mobile still, but the stories are not centered. So how do we center the stories? Now the thing is, on the mobile we want this to have the width of the screen So I'm gonna say width of screen. Okay. And on the small we want it to be width of full. Save this. As you can see, if we delete this, oops, my bad. If we delete this and we keep the width of the screen, okay, never mind. So on the mobile we have the width of the screen. Okay, so now that we have this, we can say for the stories margin on the x-axis of auto. So now we have this centered, but it's not working well because it's we should delete this margin x auto from here, and we have to create another div and put everything inside this div. Save. Now let's transfer the width screen to this div. Save. And now here, if we add the margin x of auto, now should be centered. Let's save. Let's copy this as well here. Now let's check what's the problem. I'm gonna say background of, I'm gonna say background of red 300. Okay, so the width, it's the good width. Let's inspect. Let's inspect what's the problem. So there are the images. This is a width. Oh, it's because the width of this component, it's screen, it's the full screen, but we have to give this a width of full as well. So I'm gonna say width full. Save. But it's not centered yet because we have to give a certain sizing for this, because it's, for now it's centered because it's full. So I'm gonna say in this div, probably, yeah, here, I'm gonna say max width of 25 rem. Let's save this, and as you can see, we have them centered. Now let's try with 24. Let's try with 25 again. Yeah, 25 should do. Let's see it on S20. Okay, so this should work on S20. Okay. Now, if you look at this, we can see, if we inspect this, header, as you can see, we have this margin, this extra margin on the right. It's because if we inspect this header, and if we go here, you can see where the green ends. So right here is gonna green ends, but the image flows outside the header. So let's fix this, because when we've done the header, we did not observe this. As you can see, the border, it's ending right here, and then it flows outside the box. So let's fix this by going to the right side, and instead of margin left of 4, let's try with 2. Let's try with 0, and now the margin looks good. Let's check. I feel like, yeah, we have here, we need some more margin to the right. So let's see, how do we fix this? So if we go here, we can see that Facebook has too much margin on the right. Yeah, so let's go to Facebook on the left, and margin right of 4, let's say 2. Okay, now it looks even. So now that the header is fixed, let's close the header and go back to our stories. Next thing to do is to add the small stories, but first let me try to make the stories a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna say width of 4.6 and space x of, let's try 1. Okay, they look bigger now, so it's better. Next thing, okay, let's add the image. So the small story image. I'm gonna create an image, and for this one, as the source is going to be profile dot, not profile but story, so story dot background. Save. Not background but profile. Story dot profile. Save. This is gonna have a class name, so actually first let's add a div. So let's put the image inside this div. Save. And let's give this div an absolute, so position absolute. This image is gonna have a width of let's say 6 and the height of 6 as well. Let's try with 10. Okay, maybe 9. And I'm gonna say rounded full, so border radius. So class name border, no border but rounded full, and save. Let's check it now. Okay, so we have to say flex here, and we're gonna say object, so object object cover, and save. Now to the copy story as well, we have to inverse this. So for the copy background should be here, and the copy image should be at the profile. Save, and now we reversed it. Let's see if it looks alright. Yes. So now what we can do for this story is to place the image, so to place the image better. So I'm gonna say where it's absolute, I'm gonna say at top 1 and left 1. It disappeared because we have to say we have to give a relative to this div, relative, and save. And now as you can see, we have the image well placed. We can say a padding of 1 all around, and I'm gonna say background of blue 400. Let's give this rounded full as well, and let's check this out. I think it looks good, but I'm gonna try with background blue of 500. Okay, I think this is the look we need, so I'm gonna delete this background red and save it. So now the stories have a padding of 4. That I think it's maybe too much. Now first let's say background white for the stories, and then the background should have a different color. So we want the color from the input. So if you go to header, let me open this. So into the header we had this background, so let's copy this, and if we go to the stories, we can say not to the stories but to the feed. I'm gonna say background of this. Okay, so I'm gonna say height of full for the feed, screen not full, and this should have the whole feed with this color. So in the stories we want the stories to be white, so bg white, and save. Stories, let me check this with screen. So you have to give the stories a height. So I'm gonna say height of let me see something. So I'm gonna say screen Okay, so we did not set the height, so let's set the height. I'm gonna say after the width, I'm gonna say height of, let's say 32, and I'm gonna give this a background of white. Save. And as you can see, it's I don't think you can see it, but it's way too small, so I'm gonna say maybe 44. Okay, now for this we can say flex as well, so flex, and items center, so we have the story centered. Now we can say rounded full, not full but 1 rem, and save. And there is too much padding all around. I'm gonna say instead of 4, I'm say 2, maybe 1. Okay, and I'm gonna say we want a margin of 1 as well. So not here, my bad, but here, straight. As you can see, we get this margin, but it could be a little bit bigger, to be honest. So instead of 1, I'm gonna try with 2, and only on the x-axis. So if you take a look, it's kind of too little. Okay, let's try it with 2. I think 2 should be enough. So let's give a margin top of 4 as well. And we have some padding at the top, so here, that we don't want, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. So let's inspect this. Oh, it's from the height. So the height should be, we should have instead of 44, let's try with 36. Okay, that looks better. And here where it's 4.6, let's try with 4.5 again. And I'm gonna say flex and then justify between, and we have the stories. Perfect. Okay, so I think this is how the stories will look. Maybe should we make them a little bit smaller, so instead of 4.5 per 4, no, let's go back to 4. Let's stick with 4.4, and on in the side I want more space, so to this I'm gonna say padding on an X of 2 maybe. Okay, now looks perfect. Yeah, looks perfect. Now I think we're done with the stories. Let's check them. No, we are not done. So as you can see, if we go to the feed, we have the left sidebar, then we have the stories. Okay, so now they're on the right side, but why is that? Okay, so I just refreshed the website and everything, now it's on the left side, so the left side, it's on the left side. Okay, it was a bug. You just have to refresh the website. Now the thing is, if you go to inspect and then go to responsive, okay, on the small sizes, as you can see, the background gets bigger and bigger, but we don't want this. So to fix this, let's copy the background white and paste it here. Save. And if we zoom in, we have to say rounded full, rounded 1 rem. So we'll take this from here and we're gonna paste it here. Save. Delete it from there. Okay, and now looks good to me. Okay, so this is the screen size, bam. So starting from S20, yeah, we started from here, and then on the small it's in the middle as well. So as you can see, the stories stay in the middle. Now when, let me inspect this again. Okay, so we don't have the problem anymore, but on the small screen sizes we would want this to be a little bit bigger. Okay, so on the small, if we go to here, so max width of 25 rem, but on the small we want this to be max width of, let's say 30 rem. Okay, now looks decent, but let's try with 35 rem. Okay, even better. Let's say 33 maybe, so it's not too big. Okay, 33, it's looks good. So on the small we want to say margin top. I think on the mobile as well, let's check it on mobile. So margin to the top I want to add, so S20 margin top of 4. I think this one, it's, yeah. So on the small screen sizes, if we go here, we want, after the small, we want margin top of 8 maybe. 8 looks decent. Okay, now we want this left sidebar to add some more margin to the top as well, so let's go to the left sidebar. Where is the margin top? I think it's this one. Yes. So we want to say on the small we want padding to the top of 20 maybe. Not 20 but 16. Maybe 12. Yeah, I think 12 should do. Okay, now that we're done with the stories, let's check again for the last time. Let's check the stories if they look okay on all devices. So I'll make this full screen. I'm gonna go to responsive and let's check them from S20, so from here to the small and then full. Okay, perfect. Let's move on. The next thing to do is to create new post. So if we go to the feed and here to create post, I'm gonna create a component, create post, save, go to components, create post.js and save, rfc, save, go to the feed, import the create post. Let's wait a little bit, save this, and where is it? Here. So in the feed we've said flex, but it's still okay. To this feed we don't want flex for the feed. Oh, we do. So flex and flex column, and we don't want the screen to be, the height to be screen. Okay, let's check this out. What's the problem now? So we have the left, oh my bad. Okay, so let me click save. So inside, this is the feed. So the next thing to do is to add the stories, the create post, and the post inside the same div. So the stories, create post, and posts, we want them in the same div. Save this. I'm gonna say flex. And now if we go to stories, not the stories, but to create post, I'm gonna create post, create post. Let's import it, save. As you can see, we have the create post. We don't have to say flex, and I'm gonna comment for now this create post, because if we look on the S20 or responsive, we are getting this the content is not in the center anymore. That's because here when we say flex, we want flex we want to give this a margin X of auto, so now it's in the center. So let's check it on S20 again, and we have this margin problem now. Let's see where this is coming from. So we have the padding or the margin to the right. So if we go to the stories, margin X of 2, I think is this one. So instead of margin, I'm gonna say padding, and the problem it's solved. Now let's check it again on responsive. So if you go on S20, looks good, and now from S20 on the small looks good, on the full looks good. Perfect. Let's continue. So I'm gonna delete stories, feed. So we are in the create post. I'm gonna make this smaller like this, but as you can see, we are going to create the create new post right here. Save this, and where is it? So if you go to the feed, let's uncomment this and save. I'm gonna go to a create post, and inside create post I'm gonna create another div. So div, save. I'm gonna say margin to the margin on the y-axis of let's say 8, and let's add high here. Okay, now instead of high, we want the image of the user, so the no user. Where is it? Actually, we want the guy 7, so I'm gonna take this picture, I'm gonna import the picture, import guy from /assets /guy7 dot guy7 dot, let's check this, JPEG. So JPEG, save. Let's import the image. So inside this div we're gonna have the image of the guy, so I'm gonna create an image component, and let's import the image component from next image, so right here, save. And as a source we want the guy, save it. I'm gonna create another div and put the image inside this div, and let's say width of 12 and height of 12. Okay, maybe 10. Let's try with 11. Okay, now class name should be rounded full, and now we want a background of white as well, so bg white. Okay, the next thing to do is to add the input. Okay, so outside of this div I'm gonna create an input field with a placeholder equal with what's on your mind, Joe Doe. Let's delete the outline. So class name outline of 0, So the outline it's deleted. Gonna say flex here. I'm gonna give the background of the input. So if we go to the header and copy this color, let's add it to this input. Actually, let's create a div and put this input inside the div. And now I'm gonna say background of this color. I'm gonna say flex, and I'm going to say items center and save. Now the background, my bad, we have to put it to this input, so class name equals to this background. Okay, let's give some padding. Oops, let's add this outline to this div. Okay, and let's delete this class name because we have two class names, and save. Okay, let's give some padding to this input. So I'm gonna say padding of 1 all around. I'm gonna say rounded full, some margin to the left, margin left of 2, maybe 4, 5. Okay, let's add some padding for this as well. So padding left we want 3 actually, and this should be width of full. Width of full, yeah, and we want this to be width of full as well. Let's check what's the problem, because the input should occupy the full space. So flex item center margin left of 5. Where is the margin left of 5? Okay, so here width full, we want this to be width full, and the input should be width full as well. Okay, so now it's working. We want to add this input some padding all around, so I'm gonna say padding of 2 maybe. Let's say 3. Okay, and rounded full as well. Not full, but 1 rem again. Save this. Now look how good it looks. Last thing is to add the post button. So outside of this div, I'm gonna create a div with a button inside. This button should have post. It should be flex. Should have a background of blue 500. I'm gonna say padding on the x-axis of 2, maybe 3. I'm gonna say rounded full, a height, no, this is too large, so let me inspect this a little bit. Okay, so I was looking at the image that it's smaller now, so to stop this it's shrinked. So to stop this I'm gonna say shrink 0. Let me copy this and give it to this div. Okay, so now as you can see the image is back, is the original size. Let's say 12 now because I think it's too small. Okay, so maybe 14 actually. Yeah, 14 looks good. What's next for the button? For this button, I'm gonna say height of 4, not 4 but 12. Let's say 10. Okay, 10 it's okay. Let's say flex and items center. we have to give the item center here as well. Okay, now some margin left for this button, margin left of 4. The input should be way taller, so I'm gonna say a height. I don't think this, let's try with this one. So height of 10, 12, let's say 20. Okay, so I'm gonna take this height and I'm gonna give it to the actual input. Save this. Okay, so it's too large, so 12. Okay, 12 looks good. Now this button is gonna have a class name of font bold, text of white. Now looks very good. As you can see, if we go on the full size, this is not the same size as the stories. So how do we fix this? We go to the stories to fix this. So inside stories, we have this max width of 25, on small max width 33. So we are just gonna take everything, we're gonna copy this, and into create post we're gonna paste it. Okay, margin Y of 8. Okay, so I'm gonna say class name and paste this inside. Let me Control Z and let me add it here. Now there is a lot of things that contradict each other, so I'm not going to take everything. I'm just going to take I'm going to take max width 25, small, rounded. Okay, I think this should do. Save. We have a width full. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna give it to this div. Let me refresh the page. Okay, so to fix this, let's go again and inspect. We're gonna go to responsive, and if we go to this size, we can see that it's not centered. So let's fix this. I'm gonna go to the stories, not to the stories, to create post, and actually let's delete this thing. So I'm gonna copy and save. We want to say width of screen as for the stories as well, and here we want to give the max width 25 and this. Okay, now let's say margin on the x-axis of auto as well, and we have this centered. If we go to the to this back, as you can see, this is floating outside. Okay, so my bad. This is going outside because we still on the small, we have the width of screen. So to fix this, let's say small. So on the small we want the width to be full, and save. And now everything looks okay. The thing is, now we have this margin of 8 that if we delete, oops, not this one, but we have let's see, the padding, I think it is. So yeah, the padding of 3. Okay, so as you can see, this one, it's not matching, the size is not matching with this. So to fix this, we're gonna create another div right here, and we're gonna include everything inside this div. Save. Oops, let me delete white space, and I'm gonna move this width of screen here, and I'm going to say here, I'm gonna say mx of auto, and save. And now we can we can say right here, we can delete this mx auto, we can say margin on the x-axis of 3, maybe 2, and where is it, max width, let's copy this, let's put it here, save. Okay, so to fix this, we're gonna say instead of margin x of 2, we're gonna say padding x of 2 maybe. Okay, so now looks perfect. If we go to this size, now they are equal. If you go bigger, this looks perfect. If I say inspect and we try to see it on S20 as well, they look, let's see if they're equal. Okay, so padding x of 2, we want this only on the small size. Okay, so now they are equal, and when we go to the small size, let's go to responsive, voila, we have this. Okay, perfect. That looks perfect. The next thing to do, to add the second part of this, let's create a new post. So where is it? Here, where this ends. So after the input with 25. Okay, so just just outside of this div, I'm gonna create another div, and let's say border on the bottom. Let's save this, and we're gonna move this div inside this one. Actually, I'm gonna say margin on the y of 2, save, and now let's let me check something. Oh, okay. Let me copy this. Good. Now we have the border that we cannot see actually. So I think it's because let's say border bottom, and I'm gonna say border, actually let's say border everywhere, and save. Class name, let's move it outside again. Okay, so now we have the border, but we have to move this border inside where is the white background. So inside, yeah, we have to put the border inside. Okay, so now let's add the rest. I'm gonna create another div. I'm gonna say, for example, high, and the high, it's right here, so we're gonna have to say flex. So just here, I'm gonna say flex slash column. Let's go back. Okay, so it's not going to work this way, so what we can do, it's to put these two divs outside of this one first, and then we can give this background white, and we can move it here just outside. Okay, so now as you can see, we can say rounded, we can move it as well here, save this. And now instead of this border of you can say border bottom only. Nice. We don't want this margin on the y-axis for now. And let's see, we have what else do we have here? We have the margin x, padding x, where is it? We have here padding of 3, margin on the y. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. we don't want this margin on the y-axis. Let's save this. Let's save it again. We want only margin to the top of 8. Voila, we have this. This looks good now. If we go to the border again, we can say margin on the y of 4. Okay. And now let's continue. We're gonna need 3 images. So the images that that we are going to use, there is gonna be a camera, a photo, a smile, and a camera. So let me copy them and let's paste them here. So import camera from assets, photos from assets, photos, smile. Okay, so just 3 images. Now here on the high, I'm going to add each image into a div. So I'm gonna create an image component. Save this. I'm gonna say source of the first one is gonna be camera. The second, let's give it width of 12 and height of 12 as well. It's too much. Let's try with 10. Let's say 9. Okay. It's still big, so I'm gonna say 6, 7. That's decent. So 7 and 7. Now let's do the same thing with the next images. So camera, then we have the photos, then we have the filling, so the smile. Save this. Let's say flex. I'm gonna say justify between. Very nice. And for each we're gonna have to add a description. So let's put this image inside another div, and for this div we're gonna have a paragraph. So paragraph, and this one it's live video, and save. We're gonna say flex. Now we're gonna do the same thing with each photo. So I'm gonna move the image inside this div. I'm gonna create a paragraph with this one, it's photo slash video. Again flex, and the same thing with this one. Create another div, put the image inside, put the image inside, delete this white space, create another paragraph. This one is gonna be filling slash activity. Say flex. Very well. We can give some padding or margin to the left. So for this class name, I'm gonna say padding left of 2. Okay, and I'm gonna say text. I'm gonna leave the text like this as it is. So let me copy this and add it to each paragraph and save. Now they look okay. So let's add some margin here and here. Pardon. I'm gonna say margin on the x-axis of let's try 4. Let's say 3 maybe. It's too much. All right. Now let's give some margin to the bottom as well. So margin bottom of 4. Let's copy this and let's say 8 maybe. Okay, so not to this div, but where is it? So here, let's try margin bottom of 4. Okay, not here. So here, margin bottom of 4. Let's try it padding. What's the problem? Padding on the bottom. Let's try it again. Here I'm gonna say padding bottom 4. Okay, so now it's working. We can say 3 actually, and at the top, just here we can say padding top of 4. Okay, so it's equal now. What else do we have to do? Actually, we need to add more margin here. So where is it? Margin X of 3. I'll say 9. Okay, because they have to be kind of in the center, so we keep how the Facebook looks as well. There is margin Y. I'm gonna say only margin bottom of 4, and margin top of 2 only, so it's equal now. Okay, now this looks good. Let's check this out on mobile as well. So on S20, as you can see, live video, we have to work with this. I'm gonna say white space, no wrap. So the white space does not wrap. The text, it's obviously way too big, so it flows outside the div. So to fix this, we go to live video. I'm gonna say text of how many pixels? 12 pixels. Let's say 22. I'm gonna say 16. All right, I'm gonna copy this and paste it for each one. Let's save this. Text, what's the problem? Okay, so 16 I think is the default one, so let's try with 14 pixels. 14 pixels, 14 pixels, yeah, it's the default one, and 14 pixels. We can say item center. Okay, so we can copy this items center and paste it here and here as well. Now we don't want the margin on the x-axis, only on the small screen sizes. Okay, so we want margin not 9 but maybe 2, maybe 3. Okay, now it looks good on mobile as well. So let's check this out on small. Okay, now it looks good on small as well. Here looks good, the full screen looks good. I'm not really happy with these stories because I want some more padding. So I'm gonna go to the stories and I'm gonna say padding to the top, no, padding to the y-axis of 4. Let's try 3. Okay, wait, now they look better. Let me delete this a little bit. And what happened? It's we've got this back again. What's the problem? So if we go back, let me refresh because now it's annoying. What happened? Did we change something? Yeah, I think we've changed something to the create post. Yeah, we've set margin X of 3. So this should be padding. Let's see what we've changed. I'll go back to this version, so with the padding X of, okay, so you don't have to Control Z and Control Shift Z. You can just leave it like this because I'm to the last version. Okay, so let's check what happened, because now this is annoying. Okay, stories. So first let's go to the responsive. Oops, inspect. Let's make this full. And on mobile they are equal, but as soon as they're on small, they're not. So this is because if we go to the stories, where are the stories? That's what I was going to do. So I wanted to say that the space between them, so Control F space x1, so on small I want this to be space x over 2 at least, maybe 4. Oops, 4. Say 8. No, that's too much, so I'm gonna say 4. Okay, now they look better. And at the top as well, I want to say margin on the y-axis 2. Oh, not margin, because we want the white, so padding on the y-axis of 2. Let's try this with 3. But again, this will apply on the mobile as well, so let's see how it looks. Yeah, very nice. So it looks good on mobile as well. If you go to responsive, this is what I was modifying, so the padding at the top. So now it looks very good. Now on all devices this should be okay, this should look all right. Okay, let's continue, and I'm gonna create the posts now. Well, this was the end of the first video. In the next one we are going to finish the front end of our Facebook clone, and in the third and fourth video we are going to finish the backend and deploy our project to Vercel. If you are stuck or need help with a project, feel free to book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, join my Discord channel to become part of our community. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Hello and welcome back. This is the second video of our series where we are going to build this full stack Facebook clone. In this video we are going to finish the front end of our app. So let's go to VS Code. Okay, so quick talk before we start. If you ever get stuck or need help with the projects, you can book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, you can join my Discord where you can find a community of people just like you. Okay, back to coding. Let's continue, and I'm gonna create the posts now. So I'm gonna make this small screen again. So let's start by creating the post now. I'm gonna go to the feed, and here I'm gonna create the post. I'm gonna create a new component called posts.js, rfce, and save, and let's import it in the feed. Posts, save, and we have this post. Now the thing is, we have to go to the posts, and here we're gonna have a collection of posts. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna say const first I'm gonna have only a post actually, so let's stick with this. In this post I'm gonna have, for example, a post, and this, for example, if we have in the database multiple posts, they're gonna show up like this. Okay, so for now we are gonna take them from our local host, so from this app, but later we are gonna take them from the database. So for later we are gonna create this post right here. So in the components we are gonna create another post.js, rfce, and save. And let's create multiple posts. So just like this. Let's import the post, save, and we have multiple posts. Now we want just one for now, but let's go and configure this post. So at the top we are going to have the image of the user. So let's start. So we're gonna need some images from the image folder, so I'm gonna paste them right here. Again, there are a lot of them, so I'm not gonna type them manually, but they start from line 3 and they end to line 13. So you can type them manually, or you can just go to my GitHub repo and copy this. So we can start by importing the user image. So where is it? So the guy, this one. I'm gonna create here another div, and inside this div this is gonna be the header of the post. So first let's create actually the layout of the post. So we're gonna have the header of the post, then we're gonna have the input of the post, then we're gonna have the image of the post, then after the image we're gonna have the likes. So we're gonna have the number of the likes and the buttons. So I'm gonna say after the image, number of likes and the buttons. Then after that we're gonna have the comment section. So I'm gonna say comment section, comment section. Then we are gonna have the inputs. So after we have the comments, then we have the input where we type the comments. And then after the input, that's it. So that's the last thing. So we'll start by building the header of this post. So in the header we're gonna have the image of the user, the username, the timestamp, and the 3 dots on the right. So I'm gonna start by adding the image. So inside this div I'm gonna create an image component, and I'm gonna have a source of guy and save. Let's give this a width of 10 and the height of 10. I think it's 12 should be better. I'm gonna say rounded full, so class name equals rounded full. Class name not like this, but like this. So rounded full, and save. Now let's give this a background of white. So class name bg white. I'm gonna say rounded 1 rem. Okay, and now we have the same thing as earlier, so we have to have the same margin here. So for the post, to fix this we are gonna go to the post, and I'm gonna say class name. I'm gonna say normally here on the mobile sizes we want first, let's add some margin on the y-axis of 4, maybe 6. Okay, 6, maybe 5. Now let's leave it at 6. So we want to do the same thing, so the same we want the same sizing. So to do this, we are gonna copy something from the stories. So let's take this max width of 25, took that. So in posts, we want to say this and save. Now let's create another div, and inside this div we are gonna paste this one and save. Now the width should be screen, and we can say here margin X auto. Save this, and now we have it centered. So on the mobile it's centered, then it's centered as here, it's centered as well. If we give this a padding of the X of 2, no bottom margin, actually we can give this padding inside the post. Okay, so inside this post we have to give the margin, so only here, actually only here we can say margin padding X of 2, and let's try with 4 maybe. Let's check what's the padding here as well. I mean, they don't need to match, but let's say 5 and leave it like this. So 5, we want some padding on the Y of 4. Okay, so this is gonna be the header of the post. Next thing to add is to add the username. So I'm gonna create a p tag. I'm gonna say Joe Doe. Again, flex, item center, class name. We want a font of bold. We want margin of the left of 2 and maybe 4, actually 3. Okay, leave it like this. Now we're gonna have a div with this padding because we want to add a timestamp as well. So I'm gonna say for example a day ago, so or 3 hours ago. Save this. Now class name, text XS, margin on the right, what was it? So margin left of 3. I'm gonna move it here. All right, now I'm gonna need the world image, so let me check b world. Okay, so I'm gonna have this one. I'm gonna create another div. I'm gonna put this paragraph here, and I want save. Let me save. I'm gonna create an image component. I'm gonna say source, and for the source is this one, b world. Okay, paste it here, save. Let me import the image. Where's the image? Oh, we have to add we have to put this image inside a div, that's why it's not appearing. So let's say width of 4 and height of 4. Be world, it's not appearing. Oh, this is not an image actually, so my bad. This is from React icons, so it's gonna be world, save, and here we go. Now we have it. So I'm gonna say flex. So we have 3 hours ago, and we need a span as well. So the little dot. Let me copy the little dot. So from the header. This is an HTML tag, so I'm gonna copy it, and here after 3 hours, here I'm gonna paste this and save. Not here, but here. Save. I'm gonna give some space here as well, and this looks good. Now the thing is, I want to add a little bit more space. So instead of adding space, I'm gonna say class name, padding left of 2, and I'm gonna say shrink of 0. Shrink 0. Okay, so margin left of 2. Perfect. Let's say 1 actually, because it's too much. 1, 3 hours ago. And let's continue. We're gonna have the 3 dots at the end, so right here. So to do this, I'm gonna create a div, and inside this div I have the dots. Where are the dots? Heart dots. Okay, so this one, it's an image, so I'm gonna create an image component. I'm gonna say source, and the dots inside, they are way too big. I'm gonna say width 10, height 10, flex item center, let's say justify between, and to fix this we have to include into a div this one and this one. So from here to here I'm gonna include it into a div, and this div is gonna be flex and item center, and this looks fine. So what else is it? Let's check it on mobile. This looks fine on mobile as well. So let's continue by creating the, let me make this smaller. What do we have here? Let me inspect this, because I think we have let me refresh. We might have a problem now. I'm not sure where this came from, but we have a huge space right here. So let's inspect this and see what's up. I'll go to responsive. Oh yeah. Okay, so this one, I think we've said width of full, width screen, yeah. So on small we want this to be width full, and save. So if we refresh now, everything should be okay. Let's check to be sure. Yeah, everything looks okay now. On mobile, and if we go responsive, yeah, we don't have that space anymore. So let's go back. Okay, let's continue with the input. So now if you go to the post, into the input, I'm gonna create a div, and here I'm gonna just have a simple text. So I'm gonna say a p tag. I'm gonna say my brand new car, and save. Where is it? Oh, okay, it's here. And I'm gonna say margin to the top of 2, maybe 3. 2 looks okay. No, I'm gonna leave it as 3. Now the next thing, that this is the input, that's it. Next thing is the image. This is gonna be very simple as well. So let's import the car image. So I'm gonna copy the cars, and I'm gonna create an image inside. Save, source equals car, save. Let's wait for the image to load. Voila, we have the car image. Now as you can see, we have this margin that we don't want, and first first, before that, as you can see, we have this white space right here. This is because when we said in the feed, we said height of screen, and we don't need this anymore because the height is bigger than the screen now. Let's check it on mobile as well, so we're sure we did not break anything. Okay, so now you have this white space because we don't have enough content to cover this space, but when we finish with the posts and there are gonna be another post, you won't have this white space here. Let's go back. Now let's continue. So we don't want this margin, as you can see, so we're gonna go to post, and here I'm gonna say margin on the x-axis of 2, but we want it to be with minus, and I think it's 4, and we still have some, so I'm gonna say 5. Yeah, I think 5, it's the margin on the x-axis. Let's check it on mobile. Looks fine on mobile as well, to the end of the post. So let's continue. Now we finished with the image. That was it, so nothing more to add. Now we're gonna create the number of the likes and the buttons. So not P but buttons. Now this is gonna be a div, and we're gonna have 2 images, so it's gonna be the heart and the like. Here I'm gonna create an image component inside this div with the source equal with heart, and save. Now I'm gonna say width of 4 and height of 4, maybe 5, and I'm gonna do the same thing, and I'm gonna duplicate this but with the like one. So we have the like and the heart. So here I'm gonna have the like. It's not a heart, so yeah, okay, it loaded. But this one should have width 4 and height of 4 because it's bigger. Let me check this. So 1.25 RAM. I don't think they're equal. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna say flex, and instead of 1 RAM, I'm gonna say 1.1 RAM. So I'm gonna have a custom sizing, 1.1 RAM. Okay, now they're equal. Yeah. So next what we want to do is to say that there is too much space here. Is it? I'm not sure. No, it looks good. I'm gonna just give this padding, not padding, but a margin left of 2 maybe. Here, okay, so we have this, but it's too much. I'm gonna say only 1. No, I think we don't need at all. Or margin left, let's say 2 pixels or something. Okay, now looks good. Next we have this one, we have this one, we have 1, and this is the second one inside this div. So I'm gonna create another div, or am I? Yeah, no, I'm gonna paste it in here. So I'm gonna have this here, a paragraph with Emily Doe and another 372 liked this. Now when we are done, we're gonna take this number from the database, so the number of the likes and the number of the comments, and the likes and the comments as well. We're gonna take them from the database, but for now we're gonna leave this because we are building the front end first and then the back end. So let's say class name of text. I'm gonna leave it like this, but I'm gonna take the color I'm gonna take the color of the text. Let me get the color. So it's gonna be this one. I'm gonna paste it right here. Save this, and we have this nice color. Now flex, I'm gonna say items center. Are they centered though? I think I'm gonna give some padding to the left of 3, 2. Okay, but I'm not sure they're I'm not sure that they are item center. I'm not sure that they are really centered. So flex item center. Let me check this. Okay, so they are centered, but they are different sizes, so they look a little bit different, but they are centered indeed. So let's go back. The next thing, we have the comment on the we have the number of the comments that we have to add. So let's let me see. I'm gonna create another div, and I'm gonna include this whole div inside this. Inside this one. I'm gonna delete this white space and save. Now I'm gonna create another paragraph, and I'm gonna say let's say 372 comments, and let's say 21,000 of likes, because it's a nice car, so we'll have a lot of likes. And let's continue. I'm gonna say flex to here, flex items, not center, but I'm gonna say justify between. So we have this at the end, and we want this text to move it right here, and save. So now we have the comments as well in the same with the same text. We could give this some margin to the top, so I'm gonna say margin top of 2, maybe 1 only, and my brand new car should have margin on the bottom 2 at least. Yeah, 2, maybe 3. So if you want to add 3, margin on the Y, not on the top. Perfect. Let's continue. Now we're gonna have the buttons, but we need some border first. So a number of likes plus the buttons. Okay. So we have the number of likes. So I'm gonna create another div again, and I'm gonna put everything inside this div and save. And outside this one, I'm gonna create another one, and here we are gonna have the first border. So I'm gonna say border on the bottom, and then I'm gonna create another one, same thing again, and inside them I'm gonna have the actual buttons. So let me test this. Okay, so here we are gonna have the like, comment, and the share button. Let's get the like button. I think it's this one. Be like, is it? Yeah, I think it's this one. Be smile. Is it be smile? Let me check this fast. Okay, so it's this one. Okay, be like. So let's go, and here instead of this one we're gonna have 3 buttons. So 3 divs, and let's it's be like, yeah, imported this. Now I'm gonna have 2 more. So I'm gonna add a paragraph. I'm gonna say like, I'm gonna say flex here, I'm gonna say item center, Let's give class name padding left of 2, 1 maybe, 1. No, let's leave it as 2. Now this button should be bigger, so let's say class name width 12, height 12. Okay, way too much. 8 maybe. Nope. 7 should do. Maybe 6. Yeah, 6. So height and width of 6. Now this like should be bigger as well, so I'm gonna say text 16 pixel, 18 pixels. Very well. So now let's copy this and create a comment and a share. So the comment should be comment alt. Yeah, I think it's this one. So here, instead of like, I'm gonna have the comment, and then instead of the, where's the share? So I'm gonna take the share, smile, outline GIF, camera, arrow down, share. Oh, this one. So it's not an icon, it's an image. So I'm gonna say src. I'm gonna paste the share. I'm gonna create another div. I'm gonna paste this image inside the div. Save. This class name should be here. I'm gonna delete this class name and save, and we get this share button. Now the comment, it's way too big, so let's say 5 and 5. Let's say flex. Where is it? So I'm gonna say here, yeah, here, flex. Say item, no, justify between. And they look okay. So let's say margin on the Y of 2. Now the border should have a margin on the Y of 2 actually. So I'm gonna say the same thing for this border as well, so for this one. Save. Okay, so now here, instead of margin Y of 2, I'm gonna say just 1. Wait, let me check. Actually, I'm gonna delete this margin. I was thinking that no, this looks okay. I think, yeah. Actually, this looks okay. We don't need to modify it. So here we have the comment. Save, and this is gonna be share. And save. Now the button looks all right. We can give some margin. That's, I think, the last thing we can do. So margin on the X of 2, or maybe 4. Okay, let's try with 6 maybe. And save now. Okay, now I think they look all right. I guess we can leave this. This is too much space here, I think. So no, it's not. I think it looks okay. Let me make this bigger, full screen. Now it looks okay. So the next thing to do is to add the comments. So if you go here, make this smaller. In the comment section, here we're gonna have the number of the comments and then the actual comments. So I'm gonna have a div, and first it's gonna be with the number of the comments. So I'm gonna have 2 paragraphs. First, see 376. How many comments did we have? 370. See 371 previous comments 370. Save. And we're gonna have another paragraph that it's going to say most relevant, and we're gonna have the arrow down. So the arrow down, it's this one. So inside we're gonna have this, and save. Actually we can't do this because we have to edit outside, because we want to give it a class of flex. So let's add the paragraph and the logo, and here now we can say flex. Okay, and they are in line now. So items center, now let's say flex here as well, and justify between. Perfect. Now the color doesn't, we have to take the color have to take this color. I'm gonna copy this, and actually I think we should give it here the color. No, save. So the color, we have to add it to the comments, so here. No, actually let's give it here, because we are gonna have comments that are not this color. So we have the most relevant, see the comments. Now let's create the actual comment. So outside this div, I'm gonna create the first comment. So we're gonna have the image of the user. Yeah, so the image, I think it's at the top, should be the guy image. Yeah, should be this one. So I'm gonna add the image right here. I'm gonna create a div and an image component. This should be source guy, and save. Width 12, height 12, maybe 10. I'm gonna say rounded full, should have a margin on the Y of 2. Save. The next thing is to add the paragraph and say Joe Doe. Say flex. Save. Items center. Margin to the left, so class name, margin left of 2. This text should be a font bold. And what else? We have the Joe Doe. I think we should add the comment as well. So this is the name of the user. Then we are going to have the comment. So I'm gonna create another p tag, and this will have the comment. So whoa, what a nice car, or I love the color, and save. Let's give some the same thing, copy, paste. We don't want the font bold, and save. And this should be the comment. Now we can add a like and reply thing. So just outside, I'd say, let me see, with 10. So we have the image. So just outside, let's create another div. Let's put this one inside this div. And outside, I'm gonna have another div. So with 2 paragraph, that it's like and reply. So reply and save. Now I'm gonna say flex. We want margin on the right of 4 maybe. the left, my bad. Let's try with 20. 16. Okay, I'm gonna say to rem. Maybe 4. 3.5 per 4. 3.3. Actually 3. Okay, so now we don't want this. So here we have margin on the Y of 2, but we want it only at the top. Okay, we want some space between those two, so I'm gonna say class name margin on the right of 2, and yeah, I think that's it. Maybe less margin here. So to do this, I'm gonna say margin top 1, but I'm gonna be -1. So voila, we have this like and reply that looks that sticks to this comment. Maybe 2. Let's try with 2. Maybe 1.5. Yeah, perfect. So we can see margin at the top of 3, 4. No, let's leave it as 3. Okay. Next thing, we have the comment, the username. I think we're done with the comments. So if we want to duplicate a comment, so we have 2 of them. I'm gonna say save, and let's say I'm gonna say another comment. So first, second comment, and save. Next thing is to add the input. So let's create this, and we are done with the post. After this, we'll need the image of the user. So I'm gonna say image. I'm gonna have the guy, so source equals the guy image. Again, we want this to have the same size, so I'm gonna say width 10, height 10, and save. Class name rounded full. Now let's give some margin to the top, margin top of 4. And now let's add the input. So let's create another div. I'm gonna put this one inside, save. Let's create another div for the input. Oops, I'm gonna create an input with a placeholder of write a comment. So placeholder equals write a comment, and save. Let's give this flex. I'm gonna say item center. Here we don't need this outline, so outline 0, outline 0, write a comment. Oh, my bad. We have to create a class name, outline 0, and save. Now this does not look center, so I'm gonna say flex, and save. Items center. What's the problem here? Oh, margin top not here but here. Save. Perfect. I'm not sure we need this. Yeah, we don't need it. Let's say margin on the left of 2. What's next? Write a comment. Oh, the input needs the color. So let me take the color, text, this one, copy it and paste it here. Not text but BG, so the background of the text. Okay, so it's not this color. So if you go to the where have we used it, so here in the new post, let me go to the new post and copy the color. where is it? Here, background, this one. Gonna go to the post and let's paste it here. Let's check this out. Perfect. I'm gonna say padding 1, rounded full, maybe padding 2. Perfect. And the width should be full, so say width full. Now the image just got smaller, so we have to say shrink 0, but not here, but here to this div, and save, and the image is now okay. Now the input should be as long as possible. So where do we add the width full? We should add width full here, and we have the input full. At the end we want a post button, so let's create a button as well. So first we want the background, not to the input but to the div, and save. Now we want actually the input as well with the same color, and I'm gonna say rounded full for where is it? Rounded full for this div as well. Perfect. Now let's add the button. So just outside the input, I'm gonna create a, let's say a div, maybe, yeah, a div with a button, and this is gonna say post. Let's see this better. I'm gonna make this smaller. Okay, I'm gonna say flex here, so write a comment, where is it? Here, flex item center, I'm gonna say margin right of 2, and save, maybe 4. Yeah, looks good now. We want this to have a background of blue 400. We want the text to be white, all that thing. So class name here, I'm gonna say text, not text but font bold. Save this. We want some padding on the x-axis of 1, font bold. Okay, maybe padding on the x of 2. I'm gonna say rounded full, but not here. We're gonna move this here and save. Now we have this button, this nice button. The last thing to do is to add the images, so the smiley face, the photo, and the GIF. So let's take them from the top. So should be this outline camera. First one, it's actually the emoji. So where is it? Be smile. So post, and then the button. Okay, so we're gonna add them right here. So it's the be smile. Then if we go to the top, it's outline camera. Let's duplicate and paste here, and then after the camera it's outline GIF. So let's duplicate and paste it here. So now we have these images that should not be here, but actually let me think. So we have the input. Okay, we can put the images just outside. Okay, and save, and they should be position absolute. So Let's say I'm gonna create a div and put all the images inside this div and save. I'm gonna say flex absolute. This is gonna be relative to this, and let's say right 0. So not 0 but 10 maybe. Let's say 20. Let's say 17. Oops, 16. So let's see, 16 means 4 RAM. So if it's a custom size, it's gonna be 3.5 RAM. Okay, so let's say 4.5. Perfect. Now we want a space 6 of 2. Perfect. Now it looks good. The color should be the same as this one. So I'm gonna say text and paste this. Okay, not this color, but the one, where is it? That we copied earlier. So this one. So where are the images? Here. I'm gonna say this. So this color. Perfect. Looks perfect. Now, when there are too many comments, for example, where are the comments? Comment section. So this one, let's take a comment. See where is the first comment starting. Okay, so here I'm gonna say first comment, and then where it ends is gonna be the second comment. And save. Now if there are too many comments, and save, as you can see the post it's way too big. Okay, so how do we fix this? Well, we're gonna go to the comments. So where is it? Comments section, and we want the height. So height, max height of maybe let's say 80, maybe let's say 40. Max height of 40. Okay, now I think 60 should be not 60, but let's say 48. Let's say 44. Say 40. Yeah, 40 should be. So now I'm gonna say overflow, because as you can see we have all these comments overflow on the y-axis. So vertically we want it to be scroll, and save. Now when we get too many comments, we have this scroll bar. Okay, next thing we have to do, actually let's take this and paste it right here, because we get this scroll bar at the top, and we don't want, we want the scroll bar to end right here. So I'm gonna add it here, and let's see what happened. So comment section, okay, so to fix this I'm gonna go on, I'm gonna delete, let me go back, max height of 40. Okay, let's wait a little bit. So we take this max height and we leave it right here for now, but let's delete the comments, because we have like 10,000 comments now. So let me delete them. Where are they? So from the second comment right here. Okay, so from here I'm gonna delete the rest of the comments. So we have only 3 now. The last one is this one. So I'm gonna delete this one as well. Actually, no, let's leave it for now. So as we can see, we have to create another div. That's the problem, and we're gonna put inside all the comments. So I'm gonna put all the comments inside this div, and now we can take the max height and overflow and paste it here. Save this, and what's up? Ctrl Z, max width, overflow on the Y, scroll. What's happening? Let's refresh this. I don't think there are enough comments, so we have to paste another comment to see if it's working or not. So I'm gonna paste this one and save. And as you can see, it's not working, is it? I'm gonna paste two more. Nope, it's not working. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, and save. So max height should be, let's rethink this. I'm gonna say max height of 20. And when are too many, first let's say background red of 400 and overflow Y of scroll. Oh, my bad. Actually, so there's the first comment. Okay, well, I'm not sure why. So I'm gonna say 40. Then what is this? So 40, let's say 60, 80. Let's leave it at 40. Actually, let's see what's the problem. So we have this second comment, the first one, then we have the second one, then we have the third one. I'm gonna delete this. So we have only two now. Now let's check where this div ends. Okay, so this should work. I'm not sure why it's not working. Because if I say height, let's say first. So this one, let me check. Okay, yeah, so this should work. So first comment, max height of 60, overflow on the Y. Let's duplicate this again. So another comment. Oops, my bad. So let's duplicate this again. You don't have to do this, I'm just checking to be sure. Let me see and save. Okay, Ctrl Z and save, and let's leave it for now, because when we are gonna get the comments from the database, we're gonna fix this then, because now there's too much code and it's getting distracting. So where is it? Here. I'm gonna take this and I'm going to paste it. Let's first delete this from here, and I'm going to paste it just here and save this. Now when there are too many comments, let's see if it's working, and save, we get this scroll bar. I'm gonna delete the rest of the comments and save. Where it says where it says right here over Y scroll, we can say auto, and when we don't need the scroll bar, it won't show up. So right now it's not showing up, but if there are too many comments, the scroll bar will appear. Let's delete the background color. And as you can see, we've finished building this this post. So we finished the stories, we finished the create new post, we finished the actual post. Now again, the info, for example, the number of the likes, the number of the comments, the timestamp right here, the username, the profile picture, the picture of the post, and the comments as well. We're gonna take them from Firebase, from the backend. So for now we finished the left sidebar, the feed actually. Now what we have left to do is to create this left sidebar, the right sidebar. So let's start building the right sidebar. I'm gonna make this full, and I'm gonna take my code and put it right here. So let's go to the feed. Where's the feed? And let's create the component. This should be fairly easy. So in the components, I'm going to create another file called RightSidebar.js and save. I'm going to say rfce and save, and then in the feed, let's import this, and we have the left sidebar. The left sidebar is going to have the context. So we have to take the images for the context. So I'm just going to copy them and I'm going to paste it. So again, if you want to type this manually, feel free to do so. Let me first save this, and here I'm gonna paste the images. Again, you can type them manually or copy them from my GitHub repo. Let's delete this, and first we're gonna have a title. So inside this div, we're gonna have another div called actually we have a p tag, so this is gonna be contacts, and save. And now we're gonna need three what are they called, another three things. So I'm gonna copy them and import this React icon, this React items, and these dots. So after the contacts, we're gonna have the image of the camera. So we have the contacts. Let's add the camera and save. I'm gonna say flex, item center, and then after the camera we need a loop. So the search camera, if we search and paste it here. Okay. Next thing is to add the dots. So the dots are an image. So I'm gonna create a div and an image component and save with the source equals the dots. Save this. What's the problem? Dots, image, new. Oh, we have to import the image. So image from Next.js, make sure you import it right here and save. This should be width of 7 and height of 7. Yeah, looks good. Now let me say flex. I thought it's not centered, but it is centered indeed. So these images should be in a different div with a space on the x-axis of 2, and I'm gonna say flex items center. Perfect. And now I'm gonna say to the context, I'm gonna say class name, padding to the right of 2, maybe 4. Okay, now looks better. What's left to do? I'm gonna say to this contact, or where is it? Here I'm gonna say text, not text, but font of bold. Okay, looks nice. We can give some margin to the right, to this thing, to this whole thing. Margin right of, let's say padding right of 2, and maybe at the top we can give the same we can give the same padding left of 7, so margin right of 7 and padding top of 4. So I'm gonna copy this. Into the right sidebar. I'm gonna paste them right here, but instead of padding left I want padding right. Voila, we have the same thing, but the margin to the top, it's way too much for the contacts, so I'm gonna say 8 maybe. Yeah, looks good. Next thing, maybe padding to the right. 7 is too much as well. 7 now should be the same. We leave it as 7. Next thing, it's to add the these guys. Okay, so I'm gonna create a what is called const. So I'm gonna create an array with each person, so we can map through each of them. So I'm gonna say const equals, no, const profiles equals, and I'm gonna have an array, and I'm gonna have an object, and inside this object, let me put it like this. Inside this object I'm gonna have the name of for example, this is gonna be Albert Einstein, so E, and then I'm gonna have the photo with Albert. Now we're gonna do the same thing with each person. I'm not going to type them manually. I'm gonna paste them right here. Again, you can copy this from my GitHub or type it manually. So from here to here, that's it. Save this, and now we can map through the profiles. So if we go, where is it? So this ends right here, I think. Padding flex, item center. Okay, we can take this padding right and small and padding top and add it here, because we want to create another div and we want the same styling for it as well. So here inside this div I'm gonna map through the profiles. So I'm gonna say profiles dot map, and for each profile I want a div, and inside this div I'm going to have an image. So image it's a normal tag, so I'm gonna say source equals with profile dot, what is it called, let's see, photo. So photo, and save, and we get an image for each photo, for each object, and .src, and save. And now we get the images. They are obviously way too big, so where is it? Here. I'm gonna say width of 12 and height of 12, and here they are. I'm gonna say 14 actually, want them a little bit bigger, and rounded full, and save. And let's copy this and paste it, and paste it here in the image. So class name equals, paste it here, and we can say flex, and take this flex and put it right here. And now I can say object cover. So now the images look good in their frames. Let's say space on the Y of 4, but not here, but here, and save. Now this what is this? So here, okay, so we want a margin top of 4 for here, we want a margin top. And let's check this out. Now I feel that these images are a little bit too big, so let's go back to 13 or 12. So 13. Now let's leave it at 12. So they look good now. Let's continue. We have to, after the image, we want the name of the person. So the image width 12, height 12. Okay, so after the image, what's the problem? I'm gonna create another div, and I'm gonna put this div inside this div. Save. Is there any problem? No, it's not. So we're gonna create a p tag, and here we're gonna have the profile dot name. I hope it is. Yeah. No, not name. Yeah, profile dot name, but in curly braces. Save. And we have the names. Let's say flex right. Let me check here. And items center. Class name, we want a padding left of 4, not 4 but 2 or 3. Nice. Want to say font semi bold. Yeah, looks nice. Maybe bold. No, looks good like it is. Now let's add the green light here for when you are online. So to this I'm gonna create a div. This is gonna be absolute, and I'm gonna have a width of 4 and a height of 4, and the background of green, let's say 500. Save. Now this div is gonna be rounded full, and since it's absolute, I'm gonna say bottom 0, and it disappeared because we have to say relative to this div, relative, and save. Let's move the green circle to the right, so I'm gonna say right 1, right 1. Now this can be smaller, so I'm gonna say 3 and 3. Good. Now it looks good. The only thing left to do, actually let's leave it at 4 because we're gonna do something. So with 4, height 4, I'm gonna say padding all around of 1 and background of white. So let's delete this, and I'm gonna say border save. I'm gonna say border white save, say border of 2, and I think it's looking decent, but let's keep this at 3. Save, maybe 3.5. Let's see if it's working with the Tailwind sizes. Yeah, it's working. So now we can say write 1.5, no, 0.5. Okay, so now they look good. I think this is it for the front end. Let me check this on mobile. Yeah, so as you can see, we have this on mobile, so we don't want this. How do we fix this? We go to the feed, we go to the right sidebar, and right here we want to say hidden, and save. Now let's see, it's not showing up. And then when do we want this to show up? Well, after 120 pixels, so let's check. So after XL on LG, let's check if it's working on LG first. So 1024 on 1024, I think this should work as well. So after LG we want this to show up, so I'm gonna say LG flex maybe, or block. Let's check. Voila, we have this. Now let's refresh. And why is this? Okay, let's check why. Oh, not flex but block. Yeah, that's why it's. So let's check. When we are here, it's appearing, and at the end looks perfect. Let's check this on mobile again for the last time. So inspect mobile S20. Oh, so here we have some problems. The text, it's too big. So how do we fix this? It's Emily Doe and another one. Okay, I'm gonna go to the comments, to the post. Where is the post? Post and Emily Doe. So I'm gonna Control F, Emily Doe. I'm gonna say white space no wrap. Let me copy this, and if we save, you can see it's not wrapping anymore. So we want to do the same thing with the comments. So for the comments, class name, same thing. Now it's not wrapping anymore, but it's way too close, as you can see. So to fix this, the text on this on the mobile phone, we want the text to be smaller. That's the single way we can fix this. So we want to say text 14 pixels maybe. Let's copy this and paste it right here as well. And if we save, we have these comments, maybe let's say 15 pixels. Where is it? So if I go here and I say 15, and if I go to the, where is it? Here, I say 15 as well. They look decent on 15 as well. So I think the normal size is 16. So let me check something. I'm gonna delete this. Okay, you don't have to do this, but I think, yeah, the normal sizing it's 15. So it's 16. So we want this to be 15 on mobile, and then on the small screen sizes we want the text to be 16 pixels back again. So let's copy this, and on small we want them to be 16. So so when we go to the responsive, and let's say here we have the normal text font. Now what I saw on the mobile, we have a problem. So right here, what's on our mind, as you can see, it's not showing up. So how do we fix this? We go here, we go to the, where is it? So in the create new post, you see what's on your mind. So right here, I'm gonna say just truncate. If I click save, as you can see, we get dot when it's too long. So I think this is it for the front end. Let me check again. So we have the nice navbar, a responsive navbar. Then when it gets too small, the stories look very nice. We have the post. So now what we are going to do? Well, since we finished the front end, we're gonna go and install Firebase, next auth, so we can log in with Google, so we can get the information from the database, so we can send requests to the database, all that good stuff. Well, this was the end of the second video. In the next one, we are going to start building the backend of our app. If you are stuck or need help with a project, feel free to book a study session with me on Fiverr, link in the description. Otherwise, join my Discord channel to become part of our community. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.